to resell. I was like, okay, Sharif.
Yeah, he did that a lot.
Yeah, I'm still learning how to do that. I was like, teach me. I was like, yeah, Jabari, I gotta learn how to do that too. Teach me. I actually do want to do that and get a page, a website where I could sell stuff on a website. So I could sell only stuff. I think she underestimated herself. Also, you do too, because you used to make pens like this.
Yeah.
I still got that pen. I think one of the kids tried to. I think they kidnapped it. I hid it in my car. Now I can't find it, so I'm on a hunt for it. But y'all underestimated y'all's skills. And then Khadijah made that mirror. I'm gonna see if I can get her to make another mirror like that so I can sell it. I was just trying to get you to make the pens so I could sell the pens, the writing pens. Because guess what, Jazz?
Yeah.
They got those pens all up in the schools. Elementary school, high school. Yeah, middle school, high school. All up in the schools. And then the lady was like, oh, let me get my pen because they be rolling legs and walking away. I said, my sister make those pens. She said, really? So then that's when I asked you and you said, I don't do that anymore. It's like, dang. Because I had a client for you. You know what? Hey, that's a skill that I have that I can use in consulting. Because I have a skill to be able to generate clients. You need to look into that, Jess. Or I get too old.
With consulting?
Not well. Yes, that I've already started that, but generating clients for customers for clients.
It's Saturday night, and right now I'm just writing my discussion 3 for microeconomics. I'm writing it into Word. I'm talking to my live stream. I talk to myself on it.
You said this helps you focus?
Yeah, just talking.
Get it? It's sort of like when people record themselves cleaning.
Hurry up and do this before I lose energy.
The process of medical communication is to be able to understand the basic functionality of medical. Allows you to search for code and procedures and lay check. Edits. Correct.
Why don't individuals simply force the FDA to do what is best?
I mean, why they let them get away with stuff?
Oh, I was reading off a question.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Why they let them get away with stuff? I like that.
Why don't individuals simply force?
Okay, man.
This?
that is constantly, constantly, consistently updating what the largest information costs.
Why don't individuals simply force the FDA? Why don't individuals simply force the FDA to do what is best? Perfect.
Melissa?
Huh?
Malia says hi.
Hey, Malia.
We're studying. Um,
Why don't individuals simply force the FDA to do what is best for consumers of prescription drugs? Stop dictation.
some examples of electronic
Let's say.
available.
Because every policy has a cost.
AAPC available. Medical software may be used systematically. Oh, is there integrate? Let's see.
Every time a new drug is introduced, there's a chance that it should not have been. Due to adverse side effects that outweigh therapeutic benefits. Or because it does very little to help the individual, making it ineffective. every consumer that needs FDA approved drugs is not the same. So you could be saving lives on one hand, but you could possibly be endangering many others. And you also run the risk of delaying and forfeiting lives.
It is not necessary to wish this qualified, but if you have access to it, take time to concepts and clarify as we discussed. I really wish I had time to look into this stuff, read these chapters before. Lesson learned. Read the chapters before the class start or before the course starts. It can't possibly get yourself in there. Understanding the hierarchy of drivers. Okay, medical code officers in the schools are staff. Please, individual. Or always use.
For a drug to be approved and safe for every consumer, heavy regulation is needed. Period. It is a terrible trade-off. What is it called? This is called a drug lag, meaning drugs took too far to reach the market in the United States.
That's another. Facial rashes will be 26 is like another 2 years and a few months. 2 years, 6.5 months. Fine. Let's go to the fairies.
Because it takes a long time to force manufacturers to demonstrate the safety of their new drug before allowing them to be for sale.
Bro, don't sleep by that socket. It never fails. Anytime this shit hits, I don't care how much of an energy drink I took. I have a whole lot of energy coming through 4 o'clock in the morning. Me and teacher are studying together. Studying. We'll FaceTime each other. Yeah. Look. See work? No. She's doing her work, I'm doing mine. We had different subjects and disciplines that we're studying. Different types of hair. Most hair is covered. When you have the shapes, important. This is a spares. Visual spares. May specify coding or addition. Contradictory to some changes. I can't do it like that. It messes up. Really? What is that? I can't. Interesting. There are two types of hairs. Insurance. And the insurance company insurance. But each of these kind of works on commercial carriers. Yeah. Other payers. Contrast. Years. Medicare is a federal insurance. I know. Oh, Medicare Part B covers the professional fee services performed by providers. I know that. What? That's why they keep calling me. Okay, it covers the professional fees services by providers. Okay, Medicare fee schedule for providers is released in the Medicare physician database found in the CMS website. It helps. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, so that helps to cover inpatient hospital care. Provide skilled nursing and hospice health. Okay. Okay, Part B covers two types of services. Medical necessary provider services, need to diagnose treatment, to provide necessity check. Medicare medically necessary. Preview services. I want to get these kids some castor oil to prevent HIV. Medicare Part B is optional benefit for which patients pay full premium. In general, 20% of insurance except private services covered. No. That's good. It's an option that is supposed to be yellow. But right, come back here and stop eating those because that take your contacts out. Medicare Advantage compliance. Please. I wasn't walking Trey. Yeah, that's not walking, that's working. That's what he's talking about. Because he can hear all the bumping downstairs. That's what he's talking about. It's just running. That's all it is. Might be the right. And the beans. Are the beans and the rice that is cooked? So breathing. What the heck? HR script. Start. Nope. Basically just cool.
Suppose for simplicity that both type 1 and type 2 errors resulted in death only, period. Keeping in mind that too little caution produces type 1 errors and too much caution produces type 2 errors, comma. What would be the best mix of type 1 and type 2 errors, period? Stop dictation.
Description. Medicare and health insurance. Oh, I didn't know that. Each provider must decide if they want to contract with private insurance carriers or government insurance contract with the insurance carrier. The provider is considered a participating provider or provider. Participating providers are required to accept the allowed payment amount determined by the insurer carrier as a fee for payment and follow all the guidelines that a contract. The difference between provider fees and insurance fees allowed is not participating provider. Not participating providers. Providers not contracted with insurance carrier is not required to make the adjustment. Okay. Difference between the provider's fee insurance carriers allowed amount is adjusted. Even if provider says no participating, there is a set limit like the patient can be charged. Non participating, there are set limits on what the patient can be charged, referred to as limited charging. So he needs for AED. Okay, contracted with insurance carriers. Provider is considered a Contract regulations. Provider must decide whether to contract with private contractor. Page. God,
I'm turning this in.
Page 5. There's 17 pages to go. Medical record is the provider documentation. Information about this chronically documented care towards is apparent that all services provided. Discuss how to equal good two types of medical records. And operatives. Occurs. Prevents his patient. Evaluation management. The services of the documented stable such as so patient statement, virus examination, evaluation. Right. Did you take your contacts out? Take your contacts out, please. Put them in the case. Take your contacts out. Put them in the case. Yeah. You going to sleep right now.
Tell them what happens if you leave your contacts in. You can go blind.
Yeah, you can go blind. So go ahead and take them out. Put your glasses on, cause you've been falling asleep watching your phone, and don't have your phone next to you.
They're gonna dissolve in your eyes, and you're gonna go blind.
But each chart must contain
$2,000. That's what an MBA from Harvard can cost. $200,000 freaking dollars. But is it actually worth it, or are you just paying for a fancy piece of paper? Well, today we're going to be breaking down the real numbers behind the MBA decision, and this is one of the most asked questions that I've gotten over the years. I've avoided it all the time. It's so complicated, but now I'm attempting to do it. Now I'm very familiar with this subject because when I was getting my doctorate, I actually, for a very brief period of time, attended an MBA program. Now, this is a part-time MBA program that would have taken 3 summer semesters to graduate. And I took it for 1 summer semester and decided to not continue. And I'm going to go over why that is in this video. Also go over why certain people in other situations benefit of MBA. Now, if you appreciate me making this type of video, let me know by tapping that like button. Something to it right now. So here's what we're going to be covering today. First, I'll break down exactly what an MBA costs. Not just the tuition, but all the hidden expenses. Then we'll look at the salary numbers and calculate what real return on investment. And I'll show you why specialization might be the most important factor in your decision. And finally, we'll look for small alternatives that might do a better bang for the buck. But before we dive in, I want to be super clear. I'm not here to tell you whether an MBA is good or bad. An MBA is a tool like anything else. If you're using the tool for the right situation, it's going to be useful. If you try to take a wrench and chop down a tree, it's probably not going to work. If you try to take a hammer in a screw, it's also probably not going to work. But if you have the right tool for the right situation, like a hammer and nail, then it can work like magic. So I'm here to give you the unspoken truth about the numbers so that you can make a decision for yourself in your situation. Now for the partners of this video. For those of you interested in advancing your education, ever since season 2 of The Walking Dead, I've always wondered, could you actually survive a zombie apocalypse on farm? It's not a zombie paradise. Imagine if Batman had all the money, all the training. Ever since season 2 of The Walking Dead, I've always wondered, could you actually survive a zombie apocalypse on farm? It's not like the ultimate zombie paradise compared to being stuck in a city. They have renewable food, water, shelter, weather, and everything everywhere. It's a real bad dream. It's a buffet with the fancy animal. Today we're going to find out. But before we get into the thick of it, let's just see. They've been in classic lawsuits. From doing a good old fashioned sampler. And remember, every farm is different. Some are sprawling commercial operations with grain silos and heavy machinery, while others are little family plots with goats, a garden, some chickens, and a rustic pickup. I can't tell you everything of those. So what you're getting here is the broad picture of what most farms might look like, but the dead come knocking. So how do you end up being? You didn't roll up in a convoy and the farm like it was some survival manual. We're already here when the outbreak hits. If you're fixing a fence, maybe you're visiting family, maybe you're just in a long time, or maybe you live on the farm. Either way, society collapsed and you're surrounded by barns, fields, and silos. So the world burning around you, the only option is to see every act of travel out of this place. And let's break it down, starting with the food. Let's kick things off with your initial supplies. When the outbreak begins, most people start with a fraction of the bags. On a farm, you have a huge head start. Bags of seeds, barrels of animal feed, tools scattered through the barns, and canned goods in the kitchen. Even rope, nails, tar are all lying around. In a world where desperate survivors will ransack every store and house in days, that initial cushion of supplies on a farm buys you precious time to figure out your next meal. Once you've accounted for what's lying around, you'll naturally think about the most obvious food sources. On the farm, you've got food walking, clucking, and mooing all around you. I can give you 4 to 6 eggs a week when fed. The dairy goat pumps out 1 to 2 quarters a day in season, and a single broiler chicken can use 3 to 5 pounds. dairy cows producing 2 gallons of milk a day if you can keep her fed. Pigs are walking extremely. Packing hundreds of pounds of meat, plus cooking. Sheep earn their keep with both meat and about half a gallon of milk daily in season, which can be turned into cheese or yogurt. And if you have access to rabbits, they're easy to breed and cook to mature. It can be a renewable source of lean protein. And here's a fun fact about eating too much rabbit. There's something called rabbit starvation. One of those quirky survival tidbits shared by adult folks. Trappers in frontier Canada sometimes eat themselves to death by feasting on rabbit meat, even though their stomachs are full, because their bodies desperately need fat and carbs. Basically, only eating rabbit can actually cause death and malnutrition, even if your belly's full. It's kind of crazy to think about it. Anyway, if you're skilled enough butcher or get desperate enough, every animal on the property is a cow. So a lot of work, but it beats starving to death. Out here, you're worlds apart from someone in a city fighting a zombie for a stale loaf of bread. Now let's move on to the property itself, because the real jackpot might be the dirt on the earth. Mineral soil is the difference between dying hungry and building a future long term. You can grow potatoes in about 90 to 120 days and store it for 60 months if cured. Your onions take around 90 to 100 days to store for a year once fully dried. Field corn takes about 100 to 120 days and stores for years when dried and sealed. Squash takes about 80 to 110 days and stores for 3 to 6 months in a cool, dry place. Assuming you know what you're shooting, sets for a long time. Negatives on the apocalypse, it's like winning the lottery. Hard to get that kind of stability when the world's gone to hell. And of course, crops don't grow without water. Most farms have wells, ponds, and creeks running through the land. The liquid gold from the taps in the city stop flowing. Even the waste system works in your favor. Septic tanks and composting toilets mean you're not wading through sewage like survivors crammed into a city shelter. Water and sanitation keep you alive longer than any weapon ever will. Unless you get swarmed by zombies and torn pieces, then water and sanitation won't be that long. Now let's talk about power, because food and water won't mean much if you end up freezing to death in winter. Unlike apartments or suburban houses, farms are run on multiple energy options. Propane tanks for cooking, backup generators, fireplaces, and wood stoves for heat. If you've got a wood lot, you've got renewable wood for a while. Wide open fields, perfect for solar panels, or even small wind turbines. That makes farms one of the rare places where renewable energy is possible even when the grid's there. And once you've got your basics covered, it's time to think about threats. Cities trap you with blind corners. The opposite. The zombie herd can't sneak across a cornfield without you seeing it. The spot movement a mile away. Even raiders can't creep up without giving themselves away. In an apocalypse where surprise kills, being able to see danger before it sees you is priceless. Now from here, let's talk about defense. Lines and silos aren't castles, but they're solid, and with some reinforcing, you can turn them into choke points. Zombies through narrow doors, protect weak spots, and you've got a defensible stronghold. A farmhouse isn't Fort Knox, but it's better than being stuck somewhere in a city. And if the walls aren't enough, you also have access to weapons. Most farms already have guns. Rifles and shotguns are as common as shovels. You can probably expect to find a 22 for small game, or a 12 gauge for close work, and a rifle like a 308 Winchester because you think you take them from a distance. And even if ammo runs low, fine tools double as many. Sledgehammer doesn't need it. A pitchfork can work as well as a spear. And if you're really desperate, a tractor doesn't care if it's plowing a field or mowing down a bunch of zombies. Speaking of tractors, ATVs and pickup trucks are not just for hauling hay. They let you move supplies, tow barricades, or crush obstacles. In a pinch, you can weaponize them. These survival spots give you vehicles this rugged and versatile already on site. But to keep this all running, you'll need maintenance. Almost every farm has a shed or a workshop stuffed with tools, hardware, and spare parts. We're talking welding gear, drills, hammers. It's like having a built-in hardware store during the apocalypse. That means you can repair broken gear, maintain equipment, or even build makeshift weapons and defense without having to risk scavenging runs. Now let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture. Rural neighbors tend to be more self-reliant. Hunters, mechanics, gardeners. If you're lucky enough to form an alliance, you have cool skills and resources. One farm is strong. A cluster of farms working together, that turns you into a community of survivalists, and zombies won't be the only ones scared to approach. And if you're wondering about zombies early on, here's something in your favor. The outbreak hits hardest in cities. Millions packed shoulder to shoulder, all turning into zombies at once. Out here, fewer people means fewer zombies at the start. Rural counties often sit under 50 people per square mile versus thousands in the city. That means the first week brings drifters, not floods. And drifters you can manage. That breathing room gives you time to get organized, while city folk are drowning in teeth and claws. Let's talk about something people don't always think about. In cities, when the toilet stops flushing, the disease spreads. On a farm, septic tanks and compost setups mean you can keep things sanitary. Add livestock and manure to the mix, and suddenly your waste problems become fertilizer. It might be gross to some people, but it works. And since we're talking about keeping yourself safe, let's look at how the land works against ambushes. Wide open land doesn't just help you see zombies. It prevents raiders from pulling ambushes. No hiding behind dumpsters or waiting in alleyways. Out here, anyone coming for you has to cross open land, which makes them easy to target. Now let's talk about foraging. When the crops fail or you need variety, the woods and rivers give you options. Deer, rabbits, squirrels, fish, berries, and nuts all add backup calories when the farm output dips. It's not enough on its own, but it'll supplement your diet. And of course, land needs material too. A woodlot is more than trees. It's noble lumber for repair, fuel for fire, and raw material for tools. In an apocalypse where everything breaks down and being able to repair your own gear is a lifesaver. Now let's talk about livestock again. Chickens, goats, rabbits, if you manage breeding pairs, you don't just eat once. You get a renewable protein source that can last indefinitely. Eggs and milk supplement your diet without killing the animal outright, and breeding keeps the cycle going. And let's close off the pros with some old school tricks. Some farms still have root cellars or smokehouses. These old school systems keep food edible long after refrigeration dies. Salted pork, smoked meat, jars of picked vegetables, these aren't luxuries, they're survival extensions. It all sounds pretty good so far. But let's talk about why this place may not be exactly what you think. Here's the little truth about commercial farms. They don't have stockpiles. It's like great milking. It's all shipped out fast and freshness and they hold limited supplies, but don't generally have the capacity or need to stockpile significant amounts. You can find barns overflowing with food. You might as well be defending empty fields. And even if you did luck out into a family farm with some supplies, the real killer comes next. Even with fertile land, crops take months to grow, but your pantry will likely run dry. That deadly stretch between running out of stored food and waiting for the first harvest is what kills most groups. Starvation is just as deadly as zombies. But what about the livestock? Think of it this way. Eggs and milk are a side dish, not the main course. They provide a few thousand calories a day, but a working group burns through tens of thousands. Every single day you're running a massive calorie deficit. You're in your pantry to survive. The animals don't eliminate that gap. They just slow the bleeding until the harvest arrives. And yes, to make a farm work, you would need it. It'd be next to impossible to run and secure this entire place on your own. That being said, if hunger doesn't kill you, the human element might. The same reason you thought of hiding on a farm, everyone else does too. Hungry neighbors, desperate wanderers, raiders with guns, it all comes screams.
They were
You're not hitting out here.
robbed the dude with the farm.
So remember, rules are
They were like, oh, we just want to do a trade. It's like for rob him.
all nearby.
They came to
There's
a big
survivors
gun.
of zombies awake straight to your kitchen.
I was reading that book.
And one day the herd shows up at your biggest crutches. Electricity. Electric pump for wells, freezers full of
It was written by Nick Clausen. But it was actually supernatural calls for the zombies, which I like that better. Time to be like listening to shit science. It was like, that was supernatural. I like that.
One bad moment of exposure and you're done. And those animals you thought were your son, they cut those. Feed you, but they also betray you. Cows bellow, goats scream, roosters crow. All the noise draws zombies or people nearby. And without feed or vet care long term, those animals are at risk of being sooner or later. Rotting corpses instead of dinner. The land itself. Modern farming leads to synthetic fertilizer. Without that, it's so drink every season until you're breaking your back for a handful of grain. Now let's talk about water. Wells are lifelines, but they're also single points of failure. If the electric pump breaks, the well or if a greater cord console does not falls into your well, and now you're drinking zombie soup. Without reliable water, your farm isn't a fortress, it's a trap. One failure here and the rest of the systems collapse right behind it. Now what about those live generators? Generators seem like a solution, but they're a beacon of death. For miles, hungry for fuel you can't replace, and prone to breakdown. They're false hope wrapped in a fuel tank. Now let's address the illusion of safety. Fences keep cattle, not zombies out. Slow the dead, but a herd will push through eventually. And open fields leave you with zero cover when the fight starts. And as if this wasn't bad enough, fire is another killer. Barn stuffed with hay and dry wood or tinder boxes. A single Molotov or lightning strike, and your so-called fortress becomes inferno. From there, let's talk about sound. Every barking dog is an invitation. Zombies don't care what made the noise, just that it's there. An animal doesn't grow back. Every trigger pull makes you weak or long term. And the better you do, the more you attract the wrong crowd. A thriving farm is like waving a steak in front of starving bulls. The more you produce, the more desirable you are slated. Succeeding in the apocalypse doesn't protect you. It paints a bigger target on your back. Now let's get into skills. Farming without modern support takes a terrifying range of skills. Vet work, mechanics, crop science, pest control, seed saving, butchering, even tanning hides. Miss one skill and the whole system collapses. This is why it's easy to fail on a farm. Now let's talk about your sightlines, because they don't just benefit you, they also benefit the enemy. Open fields let you see danger, but they also let raiders see. They can sit on a ridge, watch you return for days, and plan the perfect strike. And nature itself can betray you. Nature doesn't care if it's the apocalypse. Locusts, beetles, fungal blight, they'll wipe out a season of crops in weeks. Without pesticides, you're helpless when the swarm arrives. But things get a lot worse. When your machines break down, good luck. Tractors and ATVs look immortal until they're not. Without spare parts and lubricants, they die. And when they do, they become useless monuments of the old world. And running a farm alone isn't an option. You need at least 6 to 10 people, but every set of extra hands is another up to feed.
Yeah, what would you think would be a long-term choice? Like a banker, like a CPA, or auditor? A CPA is just like a certified public accountant. That's just like next level accountant. Auditor, yeah, they basically making sure everybody did everything right. They follow the rules.
From open sidelines and phones, and the local background is for a lot of people at the site are raised, even every target and the some of the grid fail, the previous file was which is the biggest problem in hospital. Survival, 3+ months. We are rated at 2 This is where the
What about a banker?
Supplies. Waiting the desperate survivors have mental health. The more successful you are, the more you advocate existence to desperate and dangerous people. The living will exceed the threat from the dead. Right about 90 will also be empty. Massive calorie deficit becomes a daily reality. Highly dependent on the daily return from anyone. Every decision is an integral. You swap your breathing pair of drugs. This is when morale becomes down and gives something. If you have your first high dose, it's pretty likely to lose control. Long term, 1 year plus. If you survive this long, the waiting time is good to be outside. The name of the game is it's a game class. Separate foundation is not, but spending place up
it'd be something. It's now, I think it's now.
BB&T?
So, yeah, BB&T, they were one of the old BB&T, they treated their employees really, really good. And when he was working in the office, he then started to work from home, and they had different roles. But you also, for some of those roles, had the skills of another discipline. Like you had to know how to do management, you had to know how to do home loans, mortgage loans. So I think CPA and auditing is more along the accounting lines, but banking has different things. It's like nursing. You can do different things with nursing. You can work in an office. You can work in a hospital. You can be a nurse advocate, an advocate for patients. You can just be a nurse. That's what a banker is like.
Well, when was he a banker, or why did he quit?
He was a banker, I think, around the time Jabari was born. Prior to that, he was just trying to focus more on his business. That's why he, kind of quit it.
So what does he do when he be working nights?
He just works with RJR.
What do they do?
I don't know. They have different positions out there. They have, different positions, just like the banker.
Was the banking stuff miserable?
I don't think it's miserable. I think it's different for different people depending on the position that you get. Like they have auditors, they have compliance auditors. They also have mortgage, something in the mortgage. I forgot the name of it. They have something as a lender. So I think it's just based on what you like. But I know he was saying you have to talk to him and ask him, because I know he was saying that a lot of those positions, some of those positions you can use your accounting degree in. So I'm not sure. You have to kind of do an internship or look up the different jobs I would say look up the different jobs under banking that requires accounting, or that you can do with accounting. I would AI version it, because it's my understanding that there's a lot of different options that you can do with your accounting degree in banking anywhere, but especially in banking. But if I had to, I think in banking you can become
well versed,
rounded. You can be well rounded in banking. However, as a CPA and an auditor, I've heard they make a lot of good money, because you can get hired by major companies and make a whole lot of money. Am I right?
Yes.
Have you done that research?
Yes.
Yeah. It's my to my knowledge, they get paid big, and then they go into banking and they get paid bigger. But I do also know that you can take that degree and be well-rounded in banking, and then still get paid and climb the ladder when you have accounting as a background. But again, I would urge you to speak with Charles, because he can tell you quickly, more accurately, and provide a lot more examples than I could not have.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna do one more head to bed.
Sounds good to me. I might do the same. Like read a few more pages. Changes requires MC to place codes for coverage. Do you work in my class?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What time?
10. I gotta clock in at 10 a.m.
It's not bad. At least 5 a.m.
Yeah, it used to be sometimes. Since I'm part-time, they just have you do whatever. But this time, today and tomorrow, it's gonna be 10 a.m. And then after that, it's gonna be 11 a.m. for the 2 days after that.
That's not bad. What time do you get off?
Same time, 6:30, and then for 11, it's gonna be 5:30. For the next 2 days, 6:30.
Practice should check policies, maintain compliance of course. LCD lookout, search by procedures. Enter geographic area. Below is an example of an NBC.
The shadow of a sniper's skull. Successful harvest isn't a secret. It's a beacon. The smoke from your chip.
Example. Routine for care. LC information document information. This video needs to sound very. Jabari, you okay? Jabari, what are you doing? It's not appropriate. 11:05. What's 11:05? Oh, of course, analysis of the removal of these lesions is considered to be routine for care and must be reported with procedure codes. Never know. What the heck are those codes there? First of all, what are codes? We can get those codes from. We're gonna pop out the codes. Okay, LTW. Oh, yeah, okay. Wait. Okay, building. Let's skip something. Um, Look, I missed something. What is the crime? Billing code starts with the same contracting information. Okay. Local coverage determination, LCD. Please refer to the LCD for reasonableness. It is not appropriate to bill medical services that are not covered as when billing for new coverage services. Jabari, what are you doing? What's all that extra stuff? What, are they playing football? Are they playing football? Huh? What they're fighting? So you just watching people fight. So that changes that's gonna affect your. It's like a video. Okay. They like joke around with balloons at each other. Oh, so they playing? Yeah. Get away from that. No, get away from that. Boy play. The wrestling each other. Okay. Are they getting hurt? Okay, get away from that prayer. Jabari. Don't come in here after you're farted. Jabari. Now come back in here and spray. And don't do that again. It's nasty. It's not appropriate to report girls. Okay, that's enough. Thank you. Not appropriate to report procedure calls. Transfer me to issues. Recording report one CPT for each data service. Total for example, if one lesion Just don't forget it. Okay, so it's this. To be here, English to service right here. The following. Templates. Jabari, I'm just not saying what time it is. Jabari, go to sleep. I typically use this. Sorry, it's not good. So hopefully nothing's tight. Hospital inpatient include medical part. Hospital inpatient. Medicare part. I need to. When the patient condition is routine is covered only if the patient is
All right, I'm telling my live stream of nobody but me. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm tired, and I gotta clock in at 10. So that means I gotta wake up at like 7, maybe 5 to get a bath, maybe 7 to get a bath, 8 or 9 to eat and put on makeup.
Oh, grown up.
I know, right? I want a grown-up job, though. Ain't that crazy? In these times, this is a grown-up job. It's just a broke grown-up job. Isn't it? Got people with degrees up in there. Just like me. I remember at Walmart, it was a bunch of people with degrees, and they all pretty much lived at home with their family. That was pretty common. I was kind of nervous. I never really told people that because I felt so embarrassed by it. But I heard people talking at work, and they would just be talking like, in a little huddle or whatever between work and just on break. A lot of people live with their family. They live with their family, got their whole family staying at their mom's house. And they're sharing rides to work. It was like, so I was thinking, it was like, oh, are they like young? It was like, no, they older than me and as old as me. It's pretty common.
It's always been like just a little bit being more noticeable for doing it. And older people with degrees, they had, of course, different types of jobs, but now with the economy being this way, it's just like you said. However, you still had adults, doing it full time, part time, side hustle.
Yeah.
But now it's like no shame in anybody game.
I know, right? Horrible.
When I was at the plasma center, I was like, look, I'm doing this so I can get Jabari. I was trying to get Jabari's stuff paid for. Now I got to get him some contacts.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah.
Bro, there was I used to do the CSL plasma. I was sitting up in there. It's like, when I get a job, I ain't ever coming back here.
Yes, that's how
it was miserable.
I didn't know you did that. Yeah, it is. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. It was horrible. It was miserable. And then I found out, like, this dude on TikTok said his uncle got donated plasma. He said it looked like 10 years returned to his body. He said, yeah. And he was like, imagine you giving your plasma. You gonna look crazy. And I was like, dang.
Oh, you know what? That does make sense, because a lot of the celebrities, they take plasma. Oh, I heard about that, because some people got on that crazy lady. They call her crazy now. Start with an E, I think.
Plasma ain't no goddamn $80 either. It's about $10,000, $15,000. Or 40. And that you can get 100. That's a month.
And they try to.
They gonna limit the times you can come a week. And oh Lord forbid you one of them people they gotta stop at the door. It's like, nah, you came in here too many times. No, it's getting bad. Probably 30 years old, looking 50, if they gotta stop you at the door, like, hey, you came in here too many times.
Yeah, Shahida was like that. Shahida says she was.
She looked real good for somebody who used to do that.
Yeah, she said
that's your life force. That's your damn life. When he said, like, he was like, bro, my uncle looked amazing after he got that damn plasma. And I was like, he was like, that's what made him stop donating plasma.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, you need your plasma. I mean, if you need it, Kia, I would say get it. You know, I use that money so I can stop spending my main money that I barely had.
So, once or twice more. I don't know. They messed up. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of those person I'm trying to find this. I'm definitely finding another way. I never really liked doing it for the same reasons you said.
But I was still doing it. It was just like, it just sitting there all that time for like $40. I was just like, you know what, let me just go up and try really hard to find a real job.
Exactly.
That's what it made me do. I was like, this is kind of crazy.
Humiliating.
Yeah, you stand in line all that time. People in that line talking about, like, yeah, after this I gotta go to work. Like, what? Yeah. Or they gotta go pull a shift, or it's like, yeah, I've been pulling shifts. I came all the way to this county. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, but I was in there and I did not feel. I was like, what the way times are, and it's not our fault. It's the freaking orange man's fault and his little followers.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely agree with that.
But you see why I say make sure you get your education and get yourself established before you have children.
Yeah.
Or don't even focus on the relationship. Focus on your getting established and stuff. That's why I say that, because
school
the way times are, and it's always when you are about to take an exam or do something that, you know,
they want to act fool.
Yeah, and then relationship related things happen, and you're just like, I ain't got time for this. I got an exam to study for.
Exactly.
I do not have time for this.
You got to set strict rules. It was like, if you interrupt stuff during an exam or quiz or anything like that, it's just going to be restrictions on how often you can come over here or how often I'm just going to be seeing you.
Yeah, or how often we have a conversation. And yeah, have to, and if they are intelligent and they looking to advance and do well themselves and support you, all support them, you're not going to be trying to, oh, you guys say, okay, let's just X, Y, and Z day.
For real. That little argument on hold.
Right. Yeah, because it tends to always happen when you got a quiz, exam, or something big due.
For real, just let me know, like, hey, if this was you, like, I would do this to you if you let me know you had something going on.
Sure, honey. It's just, because like they say, just if you can help it, just chill no relationship. But you have to know how continuing education. That's different when you continue in education. It's still difficult, very difficult. But I like the adult classes, the online classes and certifications and stuff, because they recognize that you're an adult and got stuff to do and have children, so they make it to where it fits that schedule, and they're lenient. So I do love that. Like I love She Codes, but I don't think She Codes is becoming widely recognized, but and creditable, but I'm not sure if it's 100% there just yet. Like
I mean, they existed for a long time. They existed since I was like 19, 18. They exist for a long time.
I do love She Codes. I love some She Codes. So much so that I'm gonna do other programs with them if should that be an option still. Let's see. Did medical coding because I want to get into program development, and they said that's the closest thing to transfer into in the medical field. That's going to take me, inshallah, in terms of stepping a ladder, inshallah.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I understand.
Everybody service and service for Medicare patient diagnosis does not support the Okay, what? Okay, commercial non-Medicare payers may develop their own medical bills. Oh, okay, got it. Different policies, streamline. Setting private contracts between the payers and the private providers or provide. Coders need to be able to the contract as the individual commercial payers to which So many claims. Advanced finish for sure. Chapter 17. And Tucker. Oh my God. I am not. I am not Einstein. Change your mindset. Think of what you say. You are Einstein. But you are so like credentials. Oh, so it's Peter. A lot of fun. The quality of an AAPC certification along with the student and leadership numbers. Violated according to those numbers is $4,000 a year. 64,000 a year.
64,000 a year?
Yeah, what is that per hour?
Maybe like $35 or $40 an hour. If you count in taxes.
Yeah.
$35 to $40 probably.
Yeah. You giving yourself a shot, Jess?
Huh?
You giving yourself a shot? I recognize
those
no. Sound.
I'm clicking the marker.
Oh, good. When I was pregnant with those kids, so many shots and needles, and oh my God, because I was high risk. And then just I had gestational diabetes. Oh my God.
Was Umi ever high risk?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that runs in the family. Nana was, mom was. So, be careful. Just that's hopefully it doesn't, but that is definitely a cervix. My cervix opened up the first. That's how I found out I was high risk. But I went to Central Carolina OBGYN, and they refused to let me go through multiple pregnancies and lose them. If I hadn't went anywhere else, it's possible Jabari and Malia and Jabari may not be here because they wanted me to lose like 5 to 7 babies before they qualified me as a high risk that needed a cerclage, which means they sewed up my cervix. But because I went to Central Carolina OBGYN, thank God, they was like, we're not going to put you through that. You already had a baby, your cervix opened up. All of the signs are there, all the symptoms are there. And so when I got pregnant with Malia in California, they everything started. I started bleeding. I was starting to lose her. And then it was like, come back immediately so that we can put the cerclage in. And after they put the cerclage in, it started to open up again. They put me in a hospital. I had to be upside down. So it was the right choice. The same thing happened to mom, our great-great-grandmother. Same thing happened to, I think, Nana. I think Nana was high risk. She had preeclampsia only. It happened to Umi, but mine was really weird. It happens every single time I get pregnant. So hopefully that would have not happen to anyone of you all. That's horrible. I hope none of y'all ever go through that. However, that is a history with the women in our family. The cervix just opens up. So if yours start to open up, you see blood all of a sudden, and you feel pressure down there, they may, depending on who you go to, I always recommend Central Carolina OBGYN, but they may try to tell you, oh no, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Because I lost my first child because my cervix opened up the size of a quarter, and a nurse, white nurse, she was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's nothing. She sent me home, even though I had like a pile of blood on the floor in the kitchen. And then again, it was obvious that the service was opening up. It was like tearing apart. And then the baby was fine, but it was in a sack with the amniotic fluid. But then because it came out and past my cervix, it was like a leak. And so the baby basically suffocated. And Allah will forgive me for having not taken and burying it. But yeah, just giving you that information. I didn't know that we had a history of high risk pregnancy. But the moral of that is to just, if they tell you you feel something is wrong, something is wrong. If they try to tell you, oh no, which they typically do with Black people, especially Black women, get another opinion or demand that they look into what you're saying. Because they tried to tell me that when I went to California and got pregnant with Malia. Luckily, it was a male doctor who was, I went into the emergency room because I went into the hospital first. The first time they charged me, but they didn't do any workup. They just took my vitals and charged me. I was like, nope, I'm not paying for this. And I called the insurance company. Then the second time, the blood was in the toilet. And Yusuf wouldn't even take me to the hospital. I don't think, what did he say? He had to work and all that stuff. And let's just wait. And I was like, no, I'm going. And he was like, well, you can go by yourself. I said, yeah, I'm going to go. So I went. And he never came to see me in the hospital either. But he never came out to North Carolina to see me in the hospital. I should have known by then. Even the doctor told me, the guy, he was like, one of the doctors, him and his wife owned the practice in Green Central Carolina, OBGYN. They owned it. And he was like, a man that doesn't, you in here and he ain't coming to see you, he ain't see you once. And it's like, it's not my place, but Allah was helping, like working on me to make me realize that he, wasn't the one that I should be with. But then the white doctor, when I went to the hospital in California, he was like, yeah. He at first he was like, no, well, it certainly sounds like it, but I don't think so. I said, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, check my amniotic fluid. The way I knew my body and the way I used the terminology, he was impressed. And then when he came back, he was like, yeah, there is some leaks in the amniotic fluid for Malia. He was like, the amniotic fluid, no, he said the amniotic fluid is good, but there is a little bit on your cervix or something like that. And he's like, your cervix is open a little bit. No, he said the amniotic fluid was intact because this is Malia, but it looks like it could be trying to, open up or something. But he's like, the cervix is opening. It is starting the process of a miscarriage. And I was like, yeah, it's the exact same symptoms as when I lost my first child. He was like, typically you have to lose like 5 or 6 babies before they blood. I was like, no, my doctors didn't say that in North Carolina. He's like, I would recommend you go back to North Carolina. I was like, yeah, no brainer. He wasn't going to do all that. I demanded. I was like, and then one of the doctors told me, she's like, we're not going to do it if we can't do it. I was like, okay. Another doctor in DC, when I was pregnant with Jabari, he told me I don't put women on bed rest for high risk pregnancy. I was like, well, I was like, why not? He's like, because I just don't. So I was like, well, why wouldn't you? How many children have you had? How many children have you lost? How many children have you got pregnant with? And he's like, I just don't do it. I said, and you're wrong. I said, one, you a male doctor trying to tell women about their bodies and you ain't had one child. 2, you wrong for not putting women on high risk on pregnancy. And he wasn't Black. He was like he looked like he could have been passing for white, but he could have been like Arab or something. So he could have been a hidden racist. A lot of them been popping out since Trump been in office. So I'm telling you all that because no one warned me, to warn you, even if you're not pregnant, if you feel something is wrong, insist respectfully and professionally. Should they not call your insurance company, let them know that you don't want to be charged for that and tell them why, because they all too happy to find a reason not to pay, and then get a second opinion. It could be within that same practice, because I did, or it could be with a different practice. But I would go to another doctor, for example, when the kids went for his Baptist, tell Dr. Naman, I was like, this doctor told me to put triamcinolone in Malia's vagina when she was a child, because for her yeast infection. And Dr. Naman was like, what? Yeah. I went outside and I told the nurses, Black, and it was like, go out to the front, tell them what he said and that you want to reschedule. Then call your doctor and let her know. Have them reschedule with your doctor. Then call your doctor. And when you see your doctor, let them know what he said. I told her before I even got into the office and sat down and opened my mouth, she was like, I'm so sorry he told you that. She was so pissed off.
That's so sick, man.
And it was a doctor, and I was saying to him, I was like, he was a resident. I said, can you call your overseer, talk to your overseer? And he's like, the one told me this. He looked like he disagreed, but he had to follow orders. I was like, no. And if anything happened to her, I'm coming for all y'all in here, and I'm going to make sure me and the other doctors are in this building.
I'm glad that went well. Sounded evil and probably racist as hell. Probably trying to look all sad, like, well, he told me to say that.
Mm-hmm. And then when he did it, because another time Malia was sick, no, the same time she was also sick and lethargic. And I was like, I should have never apologized. But I was like, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm sure you understand my daughter is sick. I know something wrong with her. Do a test. Did the test and found out she did have a cold. Like, it was more than just a cold. It was like a virus. I was like, I understand. Yeah, Dr. Lord is his name. I seen when I was working for Wellcome Health throughout my 8 years, over 8 years. Yeah, his name was on a lot of patients' site. And they recommended him for Jabari. I don't think so.
Demons in healthcare.
Yeah, hidden. I don't know. That's why Khadija, when she took me with her, and one of the doctors, he was like, I think Indian, Pakistani, or Arab or something. I don't know. I was like, listen, we're not trying to do no racism. So if you are, you can redirect her to someone who's not. Don't mind. And it's not gonna hide it. Yeah. And he's like, well, I said, because most people, he's like, and I was like, and I'm speaking from experience. And he's like, well, I do take offense. So I was like, okay, most of the time the truth does offend people. But he became like, he was very truthful and forthcoming. It's like, I like him. But I do feel like, and then it turns out Khadijah's like, there were some things that he didn't tell her that after she did some research. But I think Khadijah was just on the defense anyway.
Yeah, it was like this crazy white ratchet nurse that called security after she got in a shouting match with me and Khadijah. And it turns out she was like a CNA. She wasn't even really a nurse.
Who got in? Oh, the nurse, the CNA got in a shouting match with you and Khadijah?
Yeah, she kept trying to say, me in the door. And she was like, is there going to be a problem?
For you?
Yes. And then she walked off and got security.
Well, what? What were y'all doing?
Nothing. Khadijah wanted the door closed.
Is she in a hospital?
Yeah. So I was like, I'll just close cracked. And then
she arguing with patient.
Exactly.
I wish I had known. Y'all didn't tell me that on purpose. Whose idea was it not to tell me?
Oh.
Y'all didn't do that on purpose. My show would have went to the very top. That one. A CNA on top of that? I wish I had known. How's she arguing with a patient? What's she arguing with Khadijah for? In a state that she's in.
When she had Aisha.
Huh?
When she had Aisha.
Oh, I know who that was. She was a white lady, wasn't her? Her name was Janice. I still got that lady on my hit list. Janice. I remember her, short white lady. She was so disrespectful.
Was she long brown hair and glasses that she was younger? She looked like 20, 30.
No, this one was kind of short, burny, with glasses. She didn't look young. And who are you? And what is he? And what? Like, yeah, I don't know. A lot stopped me from. I don't know what happened. I hope she got what she deserved. I trusted a lot that she got the payment. I do pray for that on her. When I came up, she didn't move it. Khadijah, because after she put her little target on me. Well, who are you? I said, because I have experience dealing with doctors and nurses and just this and I'm well. So my doctor was a whole lot of stuff. Dr. Nemi. She's a doctor. She's like a pediatrician. She's very popular, very famous. I never heard of her. Impossible. She's well.
Yeah, it sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see, salary. Salary calculator. I'm about to find out. I want an unadjusted holidays and vacations.
Well, 1 hour.
That sounds like chips.
33 seconds.
It
just felt like it's been 5 hours. That's what it feels like. Just straight working. It's just had to take sips of it. You can do this. I'm ready to go.